Speaking exclusively to Times Network, Laxmi Vilas Bank Director claims that all is well within the bank and RBI's moratorium on cash withdrawal is an overreaction. Shakti Sinha, the bank's director, claims while they have been in trouble for some time, the situation is far better now with recoveries improving. The bank has enough liquidity, according to the director of the Laxmi Vilas Bank. Let's listen in.
This did come as a surprise to us, though the bank is in trouble, has been in trouble for some time now. Things have started improving slowly. Our recoveries have improved. Our depositors have started coming back. At this moment, for one, the bank is flush with liquidity. Our liquidity coverage ratio is at 240% as against the requirement of 100%. So I think the moratorium on the withdrawal, I think, is possibly an overreaction. And the fact that, there was a coup in the bank in one sense where the shareholders threw out the existing board almost completely. And then for about a month, we saw withdrawals of 2,000 crores. Our deposit fell down, almost a run. Subsequent 3 weeks, we have recovered more than half of it, but for Diwali, it have been better. So depositors have started coming back to the bank. They felt fine, this bank will pull through. It will pull through, I know, but at this moment, by a moratorium would obviously upset the depositors, particularly those who have come back, have done the right thing. And number two, in this kind of amalgamation where you're completely extinguishing all shares, major shareholders will find a way to take it, whatever they'll have their solutions. What we were more worried about when we were negotiating with colleagues for the merger earlier was what does one do with the smaller shareholders, the retail shareholders? Should we not give them some amount of care for them? And I think with these two categories of people, the depositors and the smaller shareholders, would definitely have a lot of concern. Even though, let me assure you, DBS is an outstanding bank. It'll bring a lot of cash. It'll really be good for the system. But immediately, these two tensions I see coming up.
And just to give our viewers the backstory to this whole issue, the cash-strapped Laxmi Vilas Bank has been placed under moratorium by the RBI for a period of 1 month, starting 16th of December. Cash withdrawals have been capped at 20,000 for depositors. This is the second such instance where the RBI has stepped in to protect a bank, where RBI earlier stepped in the case of Yes Bank, where a similar moratorium was imposed and was later rescued by a SBI-led consortium. The RBI has issued a proposal for the bank's merger with the DBS Bank India, which is a subsidiary of the DBS Bank. My colleague Avni Raja joining me from the newsroom in Mumbai to help us understand the current situation, given the reaction now coming from the director of the Laxmi Vilas Bank. Avni, help us understand that is it not as much of a crisis, or is the director of the bank underplaying it? What really has prompted this decision on the part of the RBI to impose a moratorium on the Laxmi Vilas Bank?
Well, Afrida, what the bank director has to say is perhaps trying to some extent to downplay what the situation is, because the fact is RBI has imposed this moratorium, and RBI imposing moratorium obviously happens when it is satisfied that this step needs to be taken to protect the depositors' interests and to ensure that all the issues of the bank are resolved properly in the best interest of the depositors. That is when RBI goes ahead and takes this kind of a decision, because obviously it is not a good thing for a moratorium to be imposed for many perspectives, and still RBI has gone ahead and done it. But here we need to look at a couple of things, because there have been 3 different things that have happened simultaneously with respect to this particular case, and this is unlike in the past what we've seen. PMC Bank, of course, was a cooperative bank, and that resolution hasn't yet happened. But whether we look at Yes Bank, where the moratorium was imposed, and then subsequently we saw the resolution coming in, here the moratorium was imposed at the same time. Within a matter of minutes, there was another circular put out which talked about this resolution plan of Laxmi Vilas Bank and the amalgamation plan that has been proposed by the Reserve Bank of India, and also at the same time an RBI appointed administrator being appointed to Laxmi Vilas Bank. So this entire process happened in tandem, practically all these 3 things together, and RBI has also gone ahead and assured that before the end of this moratorium period, that is before the 16th of December, this entire amalgamation process is going to be through, and the depositors will not have to worry. And at the same time, also important to point out that while there is a restriction of 25,000 rupees withdrawal here, there are, leeway is being given for emergencies, whether it's a medical emergency, whether it's money needed for weddings, education purposes. Borrowers, or I beg your pardon, depositors can take out that extra money from the bank. So this is just some perspective as far as what the situation is as of now, Afrida.
Absolutely. The RBI is clear that this was the last resort and it had to be done. And Avni has just explained to us why it thinks so. Thanks for joining us with the latest. Let's move into more breaking news coming in.